Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us virtually to hear about active recreation opportunities in Waterfront Park and the surrounding areas. I'm Nina Pisano, a Senior Park Project Manager for San Diego County Parks and Rec, and I will be your host during this presentation. Here's our meeting roadmap. We started with our welcome. Next, we'll get into the scope of this effort. After that, we will discuss the survey results from our first public meeting in January of this year. Then we will dive into the 4 draft concept plans that Michael Baker International prepared. At the end, we would love to hear from you on what you think. Let's get started with the scope of this effort. The Board of Supervisors directed the Department of Parks and Rec to assess active recreation opportunities for the northeast corner of Waterfront Park, shown here in red, and surrounding downtown areas. The main goal is to engage the community and host a series of public meetings to discuss the potential need for active recreation in downtown. It's important to note that this is a feasibility study at this point, and our study will not definitely result in changes in Waterfront Park. Discussions with the public will drive the direction we take. Let's talk about the northeast corner of Waterfront Park specifically. It's on the corner of Pacific Highway and Grape Street. Currently, this area is a decorative garden with pathways and is approximately 1.5 acres. Because Waterfront Park is already in our parks portfolio, we can use this existing land to provide community with more active recreation downtown. We've also looked into new or underutilized spaces within downtown that could support active rec. Which brings us to the future Port of San Diego managed land along Harbor Drive. As we work to address the board's request to increase active park and recreational opportunities by the waterfront, we reached out to the port to collaborate and explore ideas in adding active recreation amenities on this land, which is currently engaged in a long-range planning effort through their comprehensive Port Master Plan update. The Port Master Plan is taking a holistic and integrated approach to port planning, including a direct focus on the Embarcadero, which is the area we're looking at. The plan calls to narrow Harbor Drive to 2 lanes of traffic and 2 dedicated transit lanes. This will create more green space adjacent to the water across the street from Waterfront Park, shown here in red. Here is also a digital rendering of what the space could look like. These are renderings from the port's master plan, and the concepts we show you in a bit may look different. It should be noted that the lands that the port manages are different than other parts of the county. They are public trust lands that have been granted to the port to manage on behalf of the state of California through legislation known as the Port Act. Given the port's public land status, these lands have a variety of requirements that apply to their use. For example, when it comes to uses on recreational open space land, uses must serve a broader statewide and regional purpose that also supports land connections to the water and is visitor serving, which is why you'll notice different amenities on the county lands versus public trust lands. It's also important to note the port coordinates closely with the California State Lands Commission to ensure that uses on the port-managed public lands are consistent with the Port Trust Doctrine, as well as with the California Coastal Commission staff to ensure port-related provisions are consistent with the Coastal Act. The port is open to collaborating and discussing potential active uses to keeping in mind these unique requirements. So these are the 2 options we have identified to add active recreation to downtown. Northeast Waterfront, which we just showed, and the future Harbor Drive land shown here. Now let's go through the survey results following our first public meeting in January 2020. We had 147 community members participate in our survey. 127 of those respondents live within the 92101 zip code, and the rest were from surrounding downtown San Diego zip codes. We first asked, do you support adding active recreation to the northeast corner of Waterfront Park and/or the surrounding areas? 79% of survey takers were in favor of adding active rec to the northeast Waterfront Park, and 84% of respondents were in favor of adding active recreation to the surrounding areas. These results told us there is a desire for more active recreation downtown. We also asked, which amenities do you prefer most? The number one result was a dog park, number two was pickleball courts, number three was basketball courts, and number four was volleyball courts. At the bottom of the list were mini soccer field and mini baseball field. We asked, are there any other amenities you would like to see? And we received a variety of responses, but the most popular were number one, fitness equipment, number two, tennis courts, and number three, 9-hole putting course. We were able to easily incorporate fitness and tennis courts on the draft concepts. However, a 9-hole putting course would take up too much of the limited space, and therefore we are not looking to incorporate it at this time. Finally, we asked, what are your concerns? About 35% of respondents said they have concerns about adding active rec to the northeast corner of Waterfront Park, and about 26% had concerns about adding active rec to the surrounding areas. The top three concerns from participants were loss of green space, lack of parking, and noise. The good news is that the Port Master Plan calls for adding additional green space and parking to downtown, so this will help mitigate those concerns. We will also take noise into consideration during any future design processes. We took all of these survey results and used them to guide the draft concepts for Northeast Waterfront Park and the future Harbor Drive land. Now let's take a look at them. Here's draft concept A for Northeast Waterfront. Let's start at the corner where a new ADA accessible ramp leads you into the park off Pacific Highway. From there, you can enter into a dog off-leash area. In the central corridor, you can enter into the full-size basketball court area. There will be benches here for spectators. Above the basketball court is a fitness equipment area where several workout stations can be located. Off the third concrete walkway are horseshoe pits, table tennis courts, seating, and the existing dragon art sculpture. Also in this area is a sand volleyball court and 3 pickleball courts. All the walkways align with the existing walkways below coming up from the fountain area. There are also several proposed new trees, shrubs, and ground cover. Now let's look at concept B for Northeast Waterfront. This concept is also divided into 3 zones utilizing the same alignment as the existing walkways to the west. Starting at the new ADA ramp on the corner, you first come into a pickleball area with 2 courts and bench seating. The middle zone has table tennis courts, sand volleyball, new opportunities for public art, and seating. Finally, in the third zone, there is a fitness equipment area, 1 full-size basketball court, and a half-court basketball court, and another public art opportunity with seating. This concept again has new trees, shrubs, and ground cover. Keeping in mind all the limitations we discussed earlier, our consultant also created 2 draft concepts for the future Harbor Drive land to the west of Waterfront Park. The future land is long and narrow here, so here's an overall view, and then on the next slides, we'll zoom in piece by piece for a closer look. Overall, Concept A has an activated plaza in the middle with exercise stations, table tennis, picnic tables, benches, and horseshoe pits. And then sand volleyball courts on either side, and then open lawn on either end. There is also a perimeter path around the entire space. Let's take a closer look at the north side of Concept A. The edge here will align with the existing sidewalk and DG walkway to the east along Waterfront Park. It's important to mirror the same edge conditions as along Waterfront Park to unify the 2 spaces and maintain the same walkway all the way to the water's edge. Starting at the corner on Grape Street, there is a bike repair stand here for users of the bike path below. The bike path is part of the Port of San Diego's master plan and is intended to continue outside of this area along the length of the waterfront. Then you enter into a large, unprogrammed lawn area. Next, there are 2 sand volleyball courts. When entering the central plaza, there is first an area with exercise stations, then 3 table tennis courts, and multiple picnic tables in the center. A central focal tree anchors the middle of the space. On the other side are more picnic tables, 3 additional table tennis courts, and 2 horseshoe pits. On the other side of the central plaza are 2 additional sand volleyball courts, for a total of 4 in Concept A. Then another open lawn area. The south side edge of the area again complements the current conditions along Waterfront Park with a wide tree-lined decomposed granite walkway and a concrete walkway at the corner. This wide, enjoyable walkway will give easy access all the way to the waterfront. Now let's take a look at Concept B for the future Harbor Drive land. This concept has a more open central plaza and the activities concentrated on the ends. There is still a perimeter walkway and bikeway. Now let's zoom in for a closer look. You'll notice this concept has the same edge along Grape Street as Concept A. In this concept, you first come to an exercise station area where multiple pieces of exercise equipment can be located. There are then 2 sand volleyball courts. Next is a seating area to enjoy the water under the shade of a tree. There are 3 table tennis courts along with another shaded seating area. This seating area is focused around a potential art sculpture. Then you enter into the central lawn that is kept open. There are a few picnic tables and shade trees on either end. The other southern side of the central lawn mirrors the other side. There is a seating area with a potential art sculpture at the center, 3 table tennis courts, and an additional seating area. Then there are 2 sand volleyball courts and an open lawn area. You'll recognize the edge condition along Ash Street as the same from Concept A, and the same condition as along Waterfront Park. Now that we've shared all 4 of the concept plans, we want to hear from you. The future of Waterfront Park and the surrounding area will depend on your input. We will have an online survey available now until November 5th. Please let us know what you think by filling this out, and please feel free to share with your neighbors downtown. We will be hosting a 3rd public meeting this winter to show the public refined concept plans based on the feedback we receive from the online survey and any other public comments. If you have any additional questions, you can always reach out to me. My contact info is shown here. Thank you so much for following along with our presentation. We hope you are all staying safe and living well.